Hello, everybody, and welcome to Speak Out, the OutWrite podcast. I am your host, JQ. You can use any pronouns for me.
I'm Emma. I use they, she, he pronouns.
And I'm Rainer. I use he, him pronouns.
And today, in honor of our very belated October, which we are hosting in November...
Hosting?
Yes, we are hosting this month.
It's a party.
It's a party. Everyone is invited, and especially gay vampires are invited, because that's our theme today. And literally the first thing I have written down is Dracula is gay.
Yes.
And I can elaborate on this statement, but I feel like other people might have things that they want to do before getting a crash course in Eastern European history.
Bold of you to assume we don't want that right
Yeah,
now
right?
to start it off. I think you should start us off with it.
Thank you. Obviously, Dracula isn't, like, the origin of the vampire myth, but I feel like the circumstances in which Dracula was written are so evocative of the origin of vampires as, like, a popular myth that I think it's important to explore them. Dracula, Bram Stoker, probably a closeted gay man, written while Oscar Wilde was on trial for homosexuality, by the way.
I learned
So
about
kind
that for
of-
the first time recently.
Kind of an insane cultural milieu that we're dealing with. And then, if you're like, well, Bram Stoker was Irish, but if you're someone living in the British Isles who's learning about vampires, the way you're learning about them is through this kind of like popular media sensationalizing like travelogues in Eastern Europe, which is why Dracula is written as a travelogue. It's supposed to have the like air of authenticity, like maybe Jonathan Harker is taking all these notes so he can publish them later.
Did not know that.
True.
And a lot of the horror of Dracula comes from fears about Eastern Europe at the time, because the like early 19th century, well, which is not what Dracula was written, but forgive me, is really a time of delineating the boundary between industrializing Western Europe and a sort of peripheral Eastern Europe. And as part of that, you get all these like, they're like backwards. They have these like folklore customs. Like, you know in the horror movie when it's like the locals know something you don't.
My god,
Oh my
That's them about like all of Eastern
Isn't there a
Europe.
part where he's like, paprika is spicy?
Yeah, no, literally chapter 1,
What?
all the locals in Dracula are like, oh, beware of that guy, that fella, he's strange, he's from around here, but he's strange.
Interesting.
And so, the main, I can spoil Dracula, right? It's
Yeah.
like public domain.
Spoil
It
Dracula.
was published like 2 centuries ago.
Yeah, but what if people haven't read it yet?
Spoiler
I mean, I have it, but you can spoil it. I don't care.
I also
Like,
have
the
read
main, like, one of the central plot points is that Dracula goes from Eastern Europe to the UK, and he's presented as this, like, he's the evil other, but he's still European. Like, there's the kind of, he walks among us, but he's just like us, but he walks among us, and he's corrupting our youth, he's corrupting our, like, delicate, innocent women. And so I feel like, obviously, it's not intended to be a queer metaphor, but I feel like a lot of the cultural anxieties surrounding queerness are accidentally replicated in this idea of the internal other who's like, ooh, he has evil desires.
Evil desires.
They involve biting people's necks.
Oh, we got so many notes on biting, bro.
He's like, I'm going to claim Jonathan Harker as my own.
Oh, God.
Okay. So,
Wait, have you... Oh, go ahead.
No.
I was just gonna say, have you seen, like, the trailers for the new Dracula play that they're putting on? It's like Dracula.
I have.
Yeah, right?
But he's so gay in
He's
an
gay.
explicit way.
He's gay.
Oh
And-
my god, those are good.
And Dracula and Jonathan Harker kiss.
Fuck
Yeah, I
yeah.
think
Which is like, and
they didn't in the book in my heart.
yeah,
so sad.
exactly. And also, I'm pretty sure, I don't know, Dracula, he just very...
He's so gay.
He's so gay.
No,
they have
it's
him in, like,
very-
little...
It's good.
silly little, like,
They
sleeveless
have him in little
lace shirts
outfits,
and, like,
yeah.
silly little capes and stuff. Like, it's just very...
It seems
pretty.
like very. It seems like it's gonna be very fun.
Yeah, I want to see it so bad, but it's,
Yeah.
like, in New York only.
Boo, New York people and their Broadway.
Oh, wait, and I was gonna say, the other kind of cultural basis for the vampire, other than this, like, ooh, like, folklore, is, literally Lord Byron. Which, you know, we can debate over.
LOL.
Yeah, LOL. Lord, okay. Lord Byron
Crash
was
course.
a romantic poet of the early 19th century. He died in the late 1820s, early 1830s, which should give you some idea. He was very into, like, sort of anti-rationalism, and also he was bisexual.
Fuck yeah.
He was, like, fairly publicly bisexual, not that he would have used the word, but, like, in the early 19th century, so, you know, ooh.
Yeah, rough time for him.
Yeah. And also he was pretty into Eastern Europe, incidentally. Probably helped the vampire connection.
So he was probably like a vampire.
Yeah, he actually died fighting in the Greek Revolution.
Oh, damn.
Oh, true.
Did not know that about
fact.
him.
That should be a thing.
Get Byron.
You need to put, like, impact font on the top, like, Byron facts.
Byron fact 1, bisexual. Byron fact 2, died in Greece.
True.
Land
Good
of the
for him.
bisexuals.
Yeah, honestly.
Historically.
Historically accurate. Biblically accurate bisexual.
Not biblically, surely.
Historically accurate bisexual is just a vampire.
So
Yeah.
true.
I actually also have a point about that, but someone else needs to say something, so I'm not just here monologuing for all day.
Let's see, what have I got?
Talk about
We can talk about
Kill.
first
I
kill.
don't
Oh my
know.
god.
Oh my god,
I saw that
bro.
people online were mad about it, and I think
Oh,
that,
mad about it in what way?
oh, they're
It got
like,
canceled?
yeah, it got canceled.
Oh, what? It's like an objectively bad show. Like, it was probably
You know how many,
canceled.
like, objectively bad shows don't get canceled, though?
Yeah, no, very much so. It was definitely canceled. It was probably, like, canceled because they were lesbians, but also it was, oh my god, I took notes on the things that were bad about it while I was watching it, because...
That's
And that
so...
was that was partially because I didn't have service and I needed to talk to my girlfriend about it, because she was like, you should watch this, it's gay.
Oh, I see.
And then she prefaced it with it's bad. So I had to, like, report to her afterwards.
Yes.
God, no, it's truly a bad movie. Show, sorry. Yeah, I've watched the whole thing, though. So
Yeah,
that's,
I also
you know.
watched the
Okay,
whole
can what is the premise of
The
this show?
premise is that there's this girl named Juliet, and she is, yeah, it's Romeo and Juliet. Because it's Juliet and Cassiopeia.
I honestly...
Calliope, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't remember either of their names, so
Yeah,
you're doing better than me
Juliet
already.
is the hunter. I looked this up before
Okay.
the podcast because
Slay.
I didn't remember enough about it. Juliet is like, she's a vampire, and she takes, like, blood pills so that she doesn't kill people. But then...
Which is so pathetic, by the way, let me just say.
Don't be a coward. Bite your girlfriend on the neck. Come on, that's what she's there for. And Calliope is a vampire hunter, and then they meet at a party, and neither one of them knows anything about the other, because, like, Calliope is, like, new to town. Like, her family is a family of hunters, and Juliet's family is, like, legacy family of vampires. And I looked it up, and the lore is actually kind of interesting, because...
Is it based on a book or something?
It is based on a book.
Oh my god, that makes so much sense.
But the lore about legacy vampires in this series is that they are the descendants of Lilith, somebody who
Lilith
like
is
chose
your
to
classic
God.
evil woman.
Yeah, exactly. So somebody who chose to get bitten by the snake in, like, the Garden of Eden, and I think that's, like, kind
Sexy.
of neat, because it's like biting, and then they're biting people. Whoa!
Connecting
the dots.
Connecting the dots. Like that one meme. Anyways, they meet at a party. Juliet is like, oh my god, I can't control it. The hunger. And then she bites her. And then Calliope fucking stabs her in the chest with a stake. And this is all the first episode. And then she lives for some reason, even though that's supposed to, like, kill
Average
vampires or
episode
whatever.
1.
No,
Gay people
literally.
moment.
Gay people moment. And
Yeah.
then there's, like, this whole thing where it's like, oh my god, we want to be together, but we don't trust each other. But then all of a sudden, they do trust each other, and it's not developed at all. One of the things that
Gay
was in my
people
notes.
moment.
Gay people moment, yeah. And, like, their families are, like, fighting each other. I forgot. Their families are, like, hunting each other, because, like, one of them's hunters and the other one's vampires. So they're, like, fighting, and then they're, like, caught in the middle. Oh, no. Yeah. And then there's, like, all sorts of, like, drama between their two families, like, within and between their two families. And it's wild.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that show was so crazy.
It was so crazy.
I think the two highlights for me... Okay, spoilers. In case anyone's very concerned about first kill spoilers.
No, it's
Or
fine.
Dracula
They already
spoilers.
left after the Dracula spoilers.
No!
It's like a third of the way through the book anyway.
Yeah, it's okay. I don't think you really spoiled anything significant.
No.
But yeah, I still don't really know what the plot of Dracula is, but that's
I can
okay.
explain.
Me neither.
But yeah, no, the part when the dad becomes like a fucking snake and then consumes his mother.
Wait, what? Wait, which, the vampires or the hunters?
The vampires.
The vampires.
Yeah, the dad.
Oh yeah, they like do
He-
like some sort of like paganistic ritual type thing, right?
Yeah, or something.
Yeah.
I don't even remember how it happened. I just remember he became like a scaly, I guess. and then he just like
That's too
he
good.
just consumes like he
I think
consumes
they
his
do.
mother. Yeah, and then his wife is like, "Damn, you ate my mom," and then they have sex or something. It was really crazy.
Oh wait, yeah, I feel like I remember something about that. There's like something where Juliet is like, oh, it's like your heritage to like, cause we're like the chosen line. We're like the
Yeah,
we're
she's
the,
supposed
we're
to
the,
get bit by the snake for her like coming of age ritual.
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Wait,
But she like
who
really does
is?
it.
Juliet,
the
the
vampire.
vampire.
Okay.
Yeah. Juliet is the vampire. Oh god, yeah, that was like totally a thing, and yeah, she like
That
dies
was
this like
fucking
big bloody
insane.
gory death, like the mother-in-law or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, that part, and then the part when Calliope's older brother becomes a vampire, and the shot is just of him running in the darkness, but the camera is here, like down here, so it's an upshot of his like under his chin, and he's like his eyes are bloodshot, and he's like running
Oh my
through
god,
the
wait,
woods.
that's funny.
It was so crazy. I was like, no way someone greenlit this. I was like, this is the shot we want. This is the shot.
We have to portray his disorientation.
Oh my god, maybe that is what they were trying to do.
It probably is,
Yeah.
yeah, but it's also very silly.
It was so silly.
Yeah.
But yeah, awful writing, but I loved it.
But god, it was so fun.
I think I watched it
Like,
twice.
Yeah,
I love
Good
vampires.
shows once.
Vampires.
How do you have the time to watch bad shows twice?
I watched it once, like with me and my sibling, I think, and then the second time I watched it with my cousins.
Mm.
Yeah,
First
it's
Kill.
I like it
Such a
because I
fun
think it's
ride.
like silly, like just because the writing is so bad. So like you get like these characters who are just like so funny. Like they're funny, like the writers did write them to be funny, but then I laugh at them because they're just
They're
like
so stupid.
weird and like stupid. Like yeah, exactly.
Yeah, agree.
Anyways,
Although
I need to rewatch that show.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah.
Although I do think that Calliope's mom, she ate. Like
oh
the
yeah,
actress,
she was
like,
cool.
I was like, why are you putting your whole pussy into this? Like nobody else put any effort. No one, not the writers, not the actors.
boy.
It was just you, girl.
She was like, yeah, she was like, I feel like the actual good actor.
Mhm.
And that's maybe also because she had like the character who was like the voice of reason or whatever, but you know, still. Anyways, such an amusing show.
So silly. Highly
Yeah.
recommend.
Yeah, no,
But it
literally.
did get canceled.
5 stars.
because, yeah, Netflix hates lesbians.
Yeah, Netflix hates lesbians. Oh my god, no, I'm so mad about some of those shows that got canceled because like,
Didn't like Warrior Nun get
Mhm.
canceled too or something?
oh, I didn't really watch that one,
I
but it was
didn't
the
either.
oh god, Everything Sucks was so good,
Oh, I
and
never heard of that one.
oh man, there was like 2 that I like started watching, but then they got canceled, and they were like really good.
Yeah, A League
Yeah.
of Their Own got canceled.
Mhm.
Gentleman Jack got canceled.
Gentleman Jack got canceled?
Yeah.
Damn.
Like, basically,
Not that I've
name a
watched
lesbian
it, but
show.
I planned to.
Yeah, it looked good. Name a lesbian show, it's probably canceled.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like we're
sick and twisted.
sick and twisted.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Anyways, Sag.
sad.
What other shows do we have on our list of things to speak of?
Oh, this is
Honestly, I just have books and all.
true.
Also,
It's so real.
yeah. Like, can I go back to talking about Dracula now?
Yeah, you can.
Fuck yeah.
No, I feel like it's so fun how. Well, okay, this is more getting into why I think that vampires became associated with queerness, because I feel like that is a thing. Like,
Yeah.
Anne
think
Rice's boy toy, parentheses, Lestat.
Yeah.
He's like bisexual. Like, that is not something that happens in a vacuum, and like the fact that we can name First Kill and like What We Do in the Shadows, and there was that retelling of Carmilla that they were lesbians, and that other one that's a book where they're also lesbians.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm just saying, I'm establishing a trend so that when I attempt to explain why I think that trend happened, it doesn't feel like I'm talking out of my ass. I just feel like there's like an effeminacy to the vampire almost, which I think is really interesting
Yeah.
because like not to
No way.
sound crazy and film criticky and everything, but, like, I feel like drinking someone's blood is sort of inherently a violating or, like, penetrative act, almost. Like, it feels masculine coded, which
Like,
is...
it literally is a penetrative act,
Yeah.
so yeah.
Which is why it's so interesting to me that vampires always wind up, like... I feel like it's very common for them to be, like... how do I put this? Like, clean-shaven, sort of, youthful, sort of, like... Patroclus?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
you know,
Twinks.
twinks. But, like, they're not all, like, skinny.
No, yeah.
But they are all kind of, like,
Twink vibes.
limp-wristed.
Oh, that's wild.
No, I'm right. And I don't know if I can blame that on Lord Byron, because I also feel like it's like... I feel like it's the urge to have vampires be identifiably other, while also still being plausibly human, if that makes sense. Because I feel like a lot of the appeal of the vampire, and also the werewolf, is that it's like, ooh, they walk among us undetected, but then it turns out they have this, like, monstrous secret self, this, like, internal, inviolable selfhood that is disgusting to polite society. And I feel like queer coding, being like,
Yeah.
oh, like, effeminacy is a really effective way to communicate that to an audience, without having to, like, establish it more directly than that, if that makes sense.
And I think that's also where, like, this kind of, like, sensuality, like, sensualness of vampires comes in, because it's, like, also probably a good way to, like... Because, like, that, like, what made me think of that is, like, you saying, like, polite society, like, having this kind of, like, having them be kind of, like, sexy all the time, and, like, you know, kind of makes them not
because, like,
polite, I guess.
I feel like really one of the things I'm thinking of having this is, like, Edward from Twilight, who is, of course, heterosexual as hell. And I'm sure it never crossed Stephanie Meyer's mind that he would be anything but. But there's definitely, like, he's not a man's man, you know?
Sparkles in the sunlight.
Yeah.
He's for the girls!
Yeah.
Honestly, and he is, and it fucking worked.
Yeah, it worked.
So
Actually, when I watched Twilight, literally everyone in my friend group hated everyone. But, like, we were all very jaded. I understand.
Yeah.
I think if I had been younger, I would have been fucking insane. Not that I'm not insane, just not
insane
over Edward
about
from
it,
Twilight.
or
Yeah.
oh, okay, over Edward from Twilight. Gotcha. Yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah,
True.
I don't know. I feel like, building on, like, what you were both saying, also, like, the other aspect is kind of, like, what we were talking about last episode, about, like, excess and, like, that kind of thing, too. Because I feel like the vampire bite, I feel like immediate, because I saw in your notes, you were like, that sounds like it would hurt, but it's also sexy.
Yeah, no, because I looked it up, this was for D&D, but,
So true.
it was, but I was like, what does getting the blood sucked out of you feel like? And they were like, kind of ouchy, and I was like, alright, fair enough.
Well, like, you have your blood drawn before, Shirley.
No.
Oh, okay.
Good.
I've never...
It sucks.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like, oh, it sucks, haha.
But yeah, I feel like in Vampire Media, they usually portray getting bit as, like, pleasurable.
No, literally.
And so I feel like, I don't know, I feel like that's kind of adding to the queer coding, because it's like, why do you desire this, like, penetrative, like, physical act that's, like, pleasurable but seen as taboo? I don't know, I feel like that really comes up a lot in the interview with the vampire, and so it just, like,
Oh.
that one literally becomes, like, it's like, they don't even try to hide it, because the first biting happens during gay sex. So it's like,
Yeah, true.
gay sex, vampire bite, it's kind of,
They really
the dots are connected.
the dots.
Yeah.
Yeah, they literally could, the dots are on top of each other.
The
The dots are fucking.
Yeah.
No, yeah, vampire bites are
Vampire bites.
horny.
They're
Mhm.
so horny. I know, at that, yeah.
I really
They
appreciate
just always have been.
I feel like the neck is, like, a classically, like, horny spot.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like it's a classic erogenous zone, so I really appreciate it when vampires, like, branch out. It's not just the neck.
And go
I'm
where?
like,
Where else?
Like, wrist or
Wrist?
thigh.
Okay, yeah, that's...
And it's like-
Thigh is crazy. Thigh is crazy.
Be crazier, people.
No, literally.
I will
Get
support
creative
you.
with it. Get a little kinky with it, you know? Like...
Yeah, you have something about vampirism/kink.
I do. I did have something about
Question mark?
vampirism
Close
slash
parentheses?
kink. Because, like,
Whoa.
okay, it was literally just, like, I could tell that everybody was like going on this dock periodically throughout the day because the list would keep going like
Oh my god.
to JQ's point, to Raider's point, and then I'd be like, oh my god, fun, and then I enjoyed it. It was very fun to watch the progression. But yeah, to that point about pleasure from something taboo, like vampires and kink culture, because like I feel like I'm not personally involved with kink culture or like BDSM or anything like that, but like it seems like it could be like a very like big like subculture, because like, you know, like about like feeling woozy, like breath play is a thing and that like makes you feel woozy, I think, and like stuff like that. It just seems like there's a lot of elements in there, and that's probably another like othering thing.
Yeah. I don't have anything to add, but yeah.
True. Just
So
seems like there's a
true.
lot of elements that they have in common.
Have either of you seen, I'm gonna guess no for you, but like, have either of you seen Castlevania?
No.
Yes.
Oh, you have
Yeah,
seen
I watched
Castlevania!
it with my last
Oh my
girlfriend.
god, that's crazy.
I actually have something, because the vampires in the second season, I was like, wow, they have gender roles going on.
The vampires, like their physiology has gender roles?
No,
going
they're
on,
just,
or
like-
they just are gender roles?
They have a lot of gender, and I'm like, wow.
In
this
like
is-
a fun
in a
way,
good
like
way,
this
yeah.
is gender.
I'm pro the vampire.
Okay. I was like, what?
No, we're
Vampire
good.
as a gender, TBH.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
I mean, actually, Alucard, great example of the effeminate.
Yeah, because I was gonna, that's
vampire.
what the thing I kept thinking of. And
Yeah.
you're like, they're fruity, they're kind of twinky.
Yeah, no,
I was like, Alucard?
He is extremely fruity and twinky. And he has a lot going on.
I feel like, oh my god, no. He is like double queer coded. Well, he's queer, canonically. But also,
Oh,
like,
he is?
yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
I didn't know that.
But it's kind of in a unslay confirmation way. But it's okay.
You're
It's
gonna
okay.
be like, and
Wait,
then he
unslay
dies.
confirmation way?
I don't know,
With his
because, like,
Gay lover.
basically, he is in his depression era, and
Yeah.
then these two vampire hunters come
Oh,
to him.
yeah.
Okay.
No, that did happen.
Right, yeah, and then because he's like half vampire, right? So he's the son of Dracula. That's the context. And so he.
And his name is Dracula backwards.
No, that was crazy
Yeah.
when they revealed that. I was like, whoa,
Oh.
Alucard is Dracula backwards.
Whoa.
I was like kind of shook.
Just having a crisis.
But yeah, no, that was crazy. But because he's like half vampire, he kind of like opposes his father's like evil vampire like scheming and stuff. So
There's a lot of evil vampire scheming in the show.
Yeah, it's
That sounds
great.
fun.
It's so good. But so these two hunters, like vampire hunters, come to him and are like, teach us your like ways or whatever. But then he's like, oh, they're my friends. Like, I don't have to have depression anymore. And then they like, they're brother and sister. So this is why it's unslay. They both fuck him at the same time, which is kind of like,
Oh,
I
that's
don't-
so interesting.
I don't really like that.
I
but
love when writers write shows and it's like, have you ever had a sibling before?
And
Ever
it's-
in your life? Because
So true.
genuinely,
No, but it is like.
nothing sounds worse.
I mean, they're doing it to try and kill him, though.
yeah,
So
they're
it is, like,
betraying him. Then they
it
fucking
is
try
sort
to
of-
kill him. Yeah.
Like,
Still, I don't know
there's
about
definitely
that.
plausible deniability that maybe they didn't want to be having
Right.
sex with him at the
Still,
same time, but like.
Me personally, I would choose a different route.
Yeah, like maybe
Yeah.
send one of you, and then
Right.
like, did
And
you
the other
both
one,
need
like,
to be
hides under the
there?
bed or something, but they
Exactly.
jump out and kill him.
Exactly. Anyway, so that's the way we're like, okay, I guess he's gay, but or he's bisexual, I guess.
Yeah, true.
Slay. But yeah, I feel like
And in this
he.
depression era, like, even harder.
No, literally. But I feel like he's like double queer coded. Besides also being like queer, because one, vampire, but also two, I feel like the being like the hybrid, like half vampire, half human, is so.
He's Spock.
Yeah. Exactly. Sorry, not to be crazy, not to go insane
I
there for a
understand.
second.
That's
Spock is
literally what the
also
podcast
extremely
is
gay.
for.
But literally, yeah, exactly.
The
The
amount of
being
time we talked about Good Omen.
Okay, no, we're going to keep talking about
But-
Castlevania.
Yeah.
I could change the topic, but I'm not going to. Because I really like and I assume they're canonically lesbian vampires in the second season because,
Striga and Marana.
yeah.
Oh my! No,
They're
okay.
gay, right?
You
Like,
just need to
they're
see what they
lesbians.
look like. You just need to see what they look like.
One of them
Queer
is
coded
like.
because I think so.
One of them is.
No, they are gay for sure. Like they're
Okay.
confirmed a couple, but like.
Nice.
Awesome, because I was like, there's no fucking way, right? But also, like, haven't we all been burned before? Gal pals. One of them is like enormous
Yeah.
and very buff, and she has like a bearskin cloak kind of vibe
stop.
going on.
Oh my god.
And the other one is like
It's awesome.
Wait, I like them so much.
No,
I'm
that
gonna
you need to
start
watch it
watching the
just
show.
for them.
No, yeah.
And I was so sad because. Oh, sorry.
No,
Finish
no,
your
go on.
statement. I was just gonna say I thought they were all together, like all 4 of the vampire ladies,
Oh yeah.
and then I was like,
They're just on a
They're
double
not-
date.
they
Yeah.
weren't. They
Well,
weren't.
one
I
of them
guess.
is like more unlikable. So like I get it.
Camilla?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I didn't actually finish the second season because
This
I
is all
broke
for
up with my
that.
girlfriend and we were watching it together. And I was
Understandable.
like,
Maybe not gonna touch that for a
Yeah.
little while.
Yeah.
but no, it is a good show.
The spin-off dropped too.
There's a spin-off?
Yeah, Castlevania Nocturne. It's
Oh,
actually
okay.
like pretty slice so far. I haven't finished it yet because I'm waiting to finish it with my sibling over break. But it's like even more explicitly queer.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
They're good fight scenes.
Yeah, it's kind of cool too because actually, I don't know. This doesn't really tie in that much like to queerness necessarily. But in the second season, they explore vampirism as like an analogy for like colonization and stuff.
Yeah,
Which
they
is like-
definitely
Like the vampires are the colonists?
Yeah, there's
Yeah,
also like
like
some
quite
vampires who are.
explicitly.
But like one of the main like characters that gets introduced in like Nocturne is like she escapes like a slave plantation essentially, and her like master was like a vampire. But there's also
Oh,
like
I
That's
think I've seen
essentially
a
what's
clip.
going on with the brother and sister duo too.
Mhm,
Like they're
exactly, yeah.
basically being held captive by the vampire.
But there's also other like vampires too. Like there's one who's like indigenous and stuff, and he is very hot.
Nice.
True.
Yeah.
See, and it ties back into queerness because queer people are hot too.
True.
No
and he's
way!
queer. He fucks the
Yeah.
priest.
We figured it out. Whoa!
Whoa!
That's my favorite kind of sacrilege.
Yeah, I was
Being
like,
a
Yeah.
vampire
okay.
So
fucking a
fun.
priest.
There's like lots of layers there.
Being a vampire fucking a priest.
Yeah.
exactly. That's like best of both worlds.
You got the religious trauma, you got the vampirism,
Exactly.
you got
Daddy issues.
Yeah, oh my god,
true.
true.
You're right. Brenda likes that one.
Brenda's dying in the corner.
Brenda's just off screen. Do you have anything you'd like to add thus far?
Yeah.
Well, I was thinking about this really hot fan art of Hector under the table from Castlevania, with his vampire mistress, and then that made me think about like vampires as master and then their thralls. And that definitely ties
what
into-
we do in the shadows, definitely.
Yeah,
I only watched the movie. I didn't watch the show.
They have a movie?
they do have a
Yeah,
movie.
There's
the
a
movie
movie,
was
that's
the
what it
first thing.
originated.
That's wild.
Yeah, it has
Yeah.
Jermaine Clement and Taika. So like,
Oh, true. Wait,
great.
that's so fun.
And I like. And Rhys Darby is there.
and Rhys Darby, he's a
Rhys Darby's
werewolf.
there.
He's a werewolf.
Yeah. He's there with Jermaine Clements, and I was like, wow, this is. Okay, I cannot. I feel like every week I want to bring up terrible mid 2000s sitcom Flight of the Conchords. Which has nothing to do with vampires or queerness at all, but Rhys Darby is there.
Rhys
So
Darby's there.
true.
That's what matters.
And that's what matters. He's
Yeah.
very sad there.
Oh, boo.
Feel bad for him.
Oh, rip.
To him. Sorry, Rhys
Yeah.
Darby.
What we do in the shadows, though, the show, I don't think he's there. Is he there in the show? Has anyone here
Rhys
watched
Darby-
the
Rhys
show?
Darby?
I've watched it.
Yes,
I've watched,
Rhys
like,
Darby
three
No,
there.
he
episodes.
is not. He he's
He
not.
didn't come
So
back with
sad.
the werewolves.
He might have made a cameo.
There's werewolves in what were you in the show?
Yeah,
there
Yeah.
are.
That's so
He
fun.
might have made a cameo, but I
He's
don't
like the werewolf
remember it.
guy.
Actually.
Yeah, no, I don't think
he
no.
was ever in it.
No,
Yeah,
he didn't come
in the
back.
show.
Anyway, yeah, BSM, Vampire Thrall. That could bring in Astarion, but I have not read into his background enough because I don't want to be spoiled. But
This is
anyway,
Baldur's
he's
Gate,
pretty.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Baldur's Gate.
Yeah.
He is a fruity vampire.
He's-
Extremely
Ah,
fruity
there you
vampire.
go.
I'm thinking about
Just
him.
keeps showing up.
I'm thinking about him all the time.
From
Rainer,
what I've gotten of
unfortunately.
Baldur's Gate, though, isn't everyone there fruity?
Oh yeah,
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 it's not
they're
the whole
all
thing.
Everyone's
yeah,
gay.
Yeah.
because they're all like player sexual. So there's so many fruity
Oh,
vampires.
wait, okay, I can go back to the thing I was going to talk about, and then I was like, we should keep talking about Castlevania.
So true.
'Cause the thing that I actually have written down here is I should talk about Monstrous Regiment, which is
Ooh.
a novel by Terry Pratchett. You're making happy faces.
I've read fan fiction of it.
You've written fanfiction? Oh my god, send
Written
it to
or
me.
read?
Send it
Red,
to me?
red.
Oh, okay.
Oh, red.
Read.
I was like,
That is the
Hello.
one with Polly.
yeah.
Okay, yeah. It was Maledictus Polly fanfiction.
Yeah.
And everybody was trans.
Well, yeah, that's... Okay, Terry Pratchett fucking his number one hobby was making the most transcoded characters of all time,
Slay.
seemingly while being completely unaware that's what he was doing.
That's so silly of him.
Like,
Wait, what are some examples?
okay, so obviously everyone in Monstrous Regiment, the plot of Monstrous Regiment is that it's an army battalion, and the main character is a girl dressing up as a boy, so she can join the army, and then she slowly discovers over the course of the book that everyone in her battalion is also a girl dressing up as a boy.
That's so
fun.
silly.
And then there's a bit where they have to sneak into an army encampment and dress as women to get in.
Wait!
And then they're rejected, like they're thrown out of the army encampment because people think that they're men pretending to be women
That's
instead
so
of women
funny.
pretending to be men pretending
That's
to
so
be women.
validating, though. Like,
Yeah.
good for them.
Slay.
But then, apart from that, there's also, I'm sorry about the character name here, but I do love him. His name is Moist von Lipwig.
Hello?
What?
First name Moist, last name von Lipwig.
That's wild.
And he's like, his whole thing is like, oh, he never uses his real name. He's like on the run from everything and everything that reminds him of his past. And he's like a con man, and he's like, there's like a whole passage where he's like, yes, when you wear a disguise, you have to have something like really eye-catching so that people don't notice the person underneath. And it's supposed to just be about lying, but it's also like, trans? Trans? And then there's, literally his concept of dwarves is that they only have one gender. And there's like an ongoing theme throughout the books about like the City Watch that dwarves are campaigning for female dwarves to be like recognized and to be able to perform their gender like as female. And then there's also, side note, one character who's like essentially performing masculinity as a dwarf rather than like the single dwarf gender, which is like, congratulations, Terry. They were both trans femme and trans masc.
Yeah.
Slay.
It's like, bro, you can't keep doing this. And then he just
You
keeps
can't
doing
keep getting
it.
away with this.
Can't keep getting away with this, but he does.
Then he does.
Anyway, Monstrous Regiment.
Yeah.
There's a vampire there.
Ooh, slay.
Yeah, vampire, vaguely lesbian.
Slay.
Wait, I like that.
Yeah, it's really funny because you find out, like, throughout the whole book, about literally everyone in the battalion, and this is, like, usually 6 or 7 random characters. You find out that they're all female, and, like, a major side character is also female, pretending to be male. Well, okay, Jackrum is really trans-masc. Like, I feel like that one was not an allegory. There's, like, the sergeant of the battalion is, like, there's a whole passage at the end where Polly is like, you know, you don't have to go back to your family as a woman. You can go back as a male guy named
What?
Sergeant Jackrum.
So that's
And
not
it's like,
Okay,
subtext.
well.
That's just text.
That's text.
That's text.
Terry.
You're
And
writing
then,
it
like,
down.
after that, like, after all that, the vampire known as Maledict drops as, like, a one-liner, oh, by the way, my name is Maledicta, and it's, like, the last 3 paragraphs of the book.
Bro.
It's like,
Also,
what
just
are you
text.
doing here? Yeah.
Interesting.
I mean, like, there's no other way to interpret that, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a really good book. I highly recommend it, even though I've just spoiled the entire thing.
I won't remember. I don't remember.
It's okay, I
anything.
forgot
got
already.
nothing.
Yeah.
I got nothing up there. Yeah.
And you should also read other Terry Pratchett books.
Yeah.
Not just for the transcoded characters, although they are very much there.
Slay.
But also
Yeah.
for, like, the anti-imperialism and shit.
Hey, love it.
Slay. Based.
Does Monstrous Regiment have that?
No.
Mm.
Monstrous Regiment is honestly a little too pro-war for my taste.
Ooh. Gross.
But really trans.
True,
So,
at
like-
least there's that!
And it's definitely not trying to be pro-war, just so we're clear.
Mm.
I just think it sort of falls victim to the, what's the quote about, like, you can't make an anti-war film. Like, in depicting it, it accidentally glorifies it, even though it's not trying to, if that makes sense.
Oh.
Like
I
how
haven't
putting
heard that
something in
one.
a museum makes you want to look at it, and
Right.
putting something in a film or a book makes you want to, like, draws attention to it.
Yeah,
cultural
yeah.
attention.
Hmm.
Anyway,
Anyway.
we're vampires.
Vampires!
Slay. Trans vampire.
How about werewolves? Because I like that one too. I know that it's not the topic of conversation, but I saw it mentioned and I was like, I kind of like that one too.
No, I love werewolves.
Yeah.
I honestly feel much more connected with werewolves than with vampires.
Slay. I'm a
Something
vampire
about losing
person
control.
personally, but werewolves are also cool.
Yeah.
That's also like, oh, and then I reveal my masculine self, you know, which I feel like
yeah.
vampires
There
is
you
more
go.
like, I feel like there's less of a dramatic reveal with vampires.
And I have
Oh,
pointy
definitely.
teeth.
That's what I was going to
Yeah.
point out. Yeah, is that like vampires are kind
Werewolves
of
are
always
camp.
like that. Yeah.
Vampires are also camp, just in a
Yeah,
different
they
way.
are. They're camp in like a try-hard way.
Yeah, come on, Dracula spends so long grooming his beard each morning.
Exactly.
And picking out his swooshy cave.
Yeah.
Ooh. Oh no, yeah, literally. See, try hard. He definitely picked the swooshiest cape.
Yeah, for the
Yeah.
drama.
Oh fuck, what was I gonna say about
Werewolves.
Yeah.
Reese Darby.
Damn.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
He's clever.
Reese Darby is like the
Discovery.
mascot.
The werewolf, it's like a old poem by Marie de France, and it's about a werewolf guy who,
You did mention that.
yeah, he's like so loyal to his king, and then his wife betrays him, but he's so loyal to his king, and his king doesn't know that he's the wolf. But then his king's love brings him back to human form, and then it's like, oh, my favorite knight, and he kisses him lovingly.
There's a lot to unpack there. I approve.
Yeah.
Gay people real.
Gay people real.
Gay people real. No way. Oh yeah, no wait. Hold on. I might have forgotten it again. Oh, vampires are like always like that, but then werewolves are like, I feel like there's more like secret to it. Like, okay.
Stealth werewolves.
Stealth yeah, literally. No, yeah. What if vampires are the larger queer allegory, but then werewolves are the trans allegory?
Yeah, I can see it.
For those of you who cannot see, Brenna just dabbed. Presumably for werewolves as a trans allegory.
It's really good for me to not be on camera.
Yeah.
I feel more emboldened off camera.
True.
Yeah, but you will.
You should be.
There will be the me providing an audio description of everything.
Yeah.
Perceived.
Perceived.
So perceived. What else we got in
I
the
wrote
notes?
so many notes, but there weren't enough notes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like, because neither of you have seen Interview with the Vampire.
No,
Well,
but
you
I'm
can
like,
explain
I
it.
did read the Wikipedia page for it in preparation for this episode.
Oh my god,
True,
slay.
You
Yeah,
do your research.
that is really, really fruity, like extremely so.
Well,
I mean,
didn't you introduce it by being like, yeah, the first vampire bite is while he's
they're having gay
well.
sex.
Floating vampire gay sex.
That is
wild,
hilarious.
bro.
I did
Wait,
not
sorry.
see it, but I was looking up images for, to
Reasons.
plug Rainer's article from the
Oh,
print.
Can we
Oh.
say things about that yet?
Yeah, we totally can.
I don't know, you're the
Yeah,
agent.
oh,
You
true.
tell us.
Okay, yeah,
You know,
no.
Brent,
Well,
we'll be interviewing a vampire.
I wish.
Wait,
Well, actually, maybe I don't. I don't know. But
You
yeah.
don't want to have floating gay vampire sex?
Yeah, but I feel like the thing about having gay vampire sex is that a lot of the time it kills you.
It doesn't
Does
kill
it? It
him
didn't?
in the show.
Oh, well,
Okay.
that's nice.
Well, yeah, I guess
That's
the mild, like, sneak peek is that my print article for this quarter's print is on Interview with the Vampire. But yeah, so there's a movie, and then there's a show.
The
and the
show's like
show-
recent, right?
The show is very recent,
Yeah.
like last
But the
year
movie is
or
old.
something. The movie's
Like
older.
90s or something.
The movie is
Tom
also
Cruise
very,
and Brad Pitt.
Yes. Very gay, but not explicitly gay.
Oh,
And
yeah.
also, it's kind of racist, so oh well. But what's cool about the show is they got rid of one of them
Tom-
being a
Tom
literal
Cruise and Brad
slave
Pitt.
master.
Hello?
So,
Huh?
yeah, I forget which one. I kind of blocked it out of my mind. But yeah, they instead.
Sorry, no, this is literally exactly the same as when my friends and I were watching Twilight, we had decided that the only vampire we liked was Jasper because he didn't say anything.
I see where this is going.
Midway through, it's like, Lord Dog, he was a Confederate soldier, and we were like,
No!
we've been
Hated
absolutely
him.
bamboozled, duped.
Yeah.
We were so, I'm
Even
so
fooled,
mad. I'm so
tricked.
mad. Why'd she do that? There's
Why
like,
did she do so many
He
things?
could have been a Union
he could have
soldier.
been a Union soldier.
Yeah. It
I've
would've been
become
that
Italian. I'm
simple.
so mad.
It would have been that
Two
simple.
sides in that war. One of them much more ethically defensible.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. I'm remembering Twilight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen two of the movies.
I've seen one of the movies.
Okay,
That's
yeah.
my
Which
experience.
My
one?
dad
The
likes
first
those
one.
movies.
Oh, okay.
I've seen all of them. with
True.
my mom.
Is there 4 or 3?
4.
Or
Okay, true.
except I really blocked the third one entirely out of my memory.
Is
'Cause I
that the
think
one
we
with the
started
imprinting
playing
on the
board
child?
games. No, that's the fourth one.
Were they
Rami
searching?
Malek is in the fourth one, you know.
That's
Yes.
so random.
That's so
No, but he's so
random.
hot. But he's so hot.
Yeah,
he's
he's
always
really
so
hot.
hot.
Slay.
I
And
know
there are
who that
these
is,
two
but I don't
dudes
know
from
who
like
that is.
Russia or maybe Transylvania.
Freddie
And they're kind of
Mercury in the
queer-coded
biopic.
in my heart. They're like, oh, we're the only two left from like this castle or whatever. Like we go over together, and it's like, fellas.
Fellas, is it gay?
Obviously, completely accidental. Again, horrible movie. Do not recommend. Painfully heterosexual, except for those two vampires.
Disappointing.
Anyway, I'm
Yeah.
so sorry, Raina.
No,
Rami
you're
Malek
so
was-
good. I feel like we have to talk about Twilight and the fucking vampires.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah,
I don't know. I recommend the first one solely for the like laugh value.
the first
It
one
was
is funny.
hilarious.
Jacob is a good character for like easily an hour.
That's true. That's fair.
No,
Then
I
He
just-
is.
I
He's like
guess
a
I
normal
don't
character.
totally remember, but yeah.
He has like long hair, and then when he
He's
cuts
got
all
long
his
hair.
hair off, then he starts sucking.
And he's bad.
Bella, where have you been, Loca?
No.
So funny. That was when he still had long hair. So that
Yeah.
was redeemed. That was his in his redeemable arc before
Yeah.
he went and like did like I don't know a cult or whatever. Like
Just like being a
they
dick
kind of yeah.
for
He
no
started a
reason.
cult.
No, he like kind
I
of joined
just-
a cult.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
The werewolves.
Like,
I was
Like,
like,
if
if
he
he started
in
a
that
cult, it's like
movie?
crazy.
That'd be wild.
Again, kind of racist.
Yeah.
It's
Especially
probably
since
very
they're, like,
racist.
supposed
I
to be,
haven't
like
consumed it, but
No,
probably
it's very
culturally.
racist.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
she literally used a real like indigenous tribe's
Oh
name.
fuck, she totally
Yeah,
did.
she
Yeah, I forgot about
did.
that.
I mean, are we surprised? She's Mormon.
She's Mormon?
You didn't know
Stephanie
she's
Myers
Mormon?
is Mormon
That's
and
why
she's
they
don't
fucking
have
out
sex
sexy
until-
vampires.
So you haven't seen
Yeah,
the
that's
quote where it's like Bella walks downstairs in like her calf-length khaki skirt?
Oh my god, I have seen that.
Yeah,
I
that's a
figured
thing.
she was
I
just
haven't
a
seen that
bad
either.
writer.
She could do
Both.
both.
Yeah, exactly.
Like Brandon Sanderson, I think, is Mormon, and he's like an okay writer.
Oh,
He's
but-
Mormon?
I mean, maybe he's not, but I think he is.
No,
That's so wild.
I have.
I feel
literal-
like I
have-
might have heard that and then blocked it out of my mind.
I have lived proof that there are some cool Mormons out there. 2 of my best friends from childhood.
Oh yeah,
Slay.
Yeah.
love it.
Not Suzanne Collins, though.
Not Suzanne.
Suzanne
Collins.
Collins. is
Suzanne
Mormon?
Collins?
Oh, no, no.
Mormon?
fucking-
Oh, Stephanie
Sorry,
Myers.
mixing
Oh
up my
my
wife.
God.
Sorry to Suzanne Collins. You are
That
so
was
cool.
a fucking jump scare.
Sorry,
Oh my
sorry.
God.
Mixing up my wire authors. LOL. No, Suzanne Collins is cool. I mean,
Suzanne
as far as I
Collins is
know,
so
I don't
valid.
keep up with her life, but
Oh, I think she's.
I don't know.
I don't think. I mean, she hasn't done like any J.K. Rowling like.
Yeah, but
level
like
Yeah.
the
things.
bar is not at J.K. Rowling.
No, that's true. Yeah.
yeah, the thankfully, hopefully, the
What the
bar's
fuck were we
not.
talking about? Interview with the
Oh
Vampire?
yeah, Interview with the
Yeah.
Vampire. Okay, yeah. No, I was just gonna say it was cool because they made Louis like a black guy in the show, and
Oh,
so
sorry, it's Louise?
Louis.
Louis. Okay, wait, is it Louis or is it Louis?
It's Louis.
Okay.
Yeah, it's Louis. I'm pretty sure. Anyways, it's probably Louis. If I'm wrong, sorry.
You're the one who's watched the show.
I'm pretty sure. I'm doubting myself now, though. But yeah, no, it's like cool because they like incorporate that into his character, and like it's an added layer of why he feels extra like ostracized for being like both queer and black. And I thought that was like a clever way to like get rid of the slave master aspect, and then to also bring in like more societal like things to the vampire storyline, because yeah, it's like he feels very isolated and like alone until he meets Lestat, who's like the bisexual fruity vampire who seduces him, and then
Because
it's
I
like,
can fix you.
well,
For real.
no, he actually said I can make you worse,
Okay.
and then he
That's
was
kind
like,
of a vampire like.
yeah,
It's like I can make you worse, but in like a sexy way.
exactly, and then he's like, yeah, make me worse, and then he does make him worse, but like it's not actually.
Shit. Yeah. Okay. Well.
But it was fun to watch.
Yeah. And like that's what matters.
And they do have floating gay vampire sex
Yeah.
where he bites him.
There we go.
In a sexy way.
He bites
Well,
in a sexy
it's
way because it's
vampires.
sexy.
Well, he also does like murder people, and it's like less sexy. It's
Yeah.
more just like murderous.
Oh, okay.
But a little
It's
sexy.
It's not sexy murder. It's like regular murder.
Sometimes it's regular murder, sometimes it's sexy murder. He mixes it up, you know?
There's a distinction.
I know there's a distinction. Oh, no one think I'm not, like, aware that there might be a distinction between regular murder and sexy murder.
Yeah.
But I feel like if you have religious trauma, that's a great show to watch. Because, I
It
mean,
will give you more.
exactly! It's great. Okay, spoilers
I
for the
love
first
shows that make it
episode.
worse.
But like exactly. The what happens is basically like the whole time Louis kind of grew up like Christian and stuff, so or probably Catholic.
Probably Catholic.
Probably Catholic.
Let's
And
be honest.
so he's like, oh my god, I can't be gay. That's like so sinful and saucy, and also
Sussy.
can't let the sexy,
No way.
the sexy gay vampire like bite me because that's like sus. But then finally he reaches his breaking point and he goes to like the church and he like is in the confessional booth and he's like, I
Feedback
have
moment.
sinned. I laid down with a man. I laid down with the devil, and who is a pretty vampire.
Yeah.
And
Naturally.
naturally,
Yeah,
of course. And he's like, I can't escape. The devil like has his roots in me, and I can't like
You've got
escape.
something else in you too.
And then you just see like fucking fire, and then it's like
Whoa.
Scott pulling the priest out of the booth and like murders him, and then he like goes on a rampage and kills like every priest in like the entire church as the church is like on
I'm
fire,
fucking
and he's like,
obsessed.
oh god.
I'm obsessed.
Yeah.
Like,
It was crazy, and then he turns to like Louis, who's like quaking like a little wet rat on the floor.
Oh,
And
that's
then-
why you like him, yeah.
Hey, listen. And then he's like, I'm not the devil, you were wrong. And then he like kneels down like next to him, and then he's like, you be my companion, like I see you and like I understand you and like all this stuff. And he's like, be with me forever. He's like, all you have to do is say the word, and then he like turns him. Like Louis is like, yeah,
Oh
and
my
then he like
god.
turns him. It was crazy.
That's sexy murder because it's like in the name of another, you know?
Yeah, no, it was
Yeah.
insane. Like while they're surrounded by like the burning church and like the corpses of all the priests.
What kind of
Fuck,
fan
maybe I need to watch this show.
I need
It was
to
crazy.
like
That made me insane. I've seen that episode like 4 or 5 times.
Is it like live action or animated?
It's live action.
Damn, imagine how crazy they could go with the animated Interview with a Vampire show.
True. Castlevania.
There
There's
you
your
go.
crazy gay animated show.
Castlevania goes hard.
It goes hard, and the character designs are so fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could be
that's
gayer, but like, I respect the effort they put
I feel
in.
like Nocturne
Yeah.
is like gayer. So,
Nice.
you know, it's like they did up the gay levels.
Yeah.
Once again, I need to finish it still, but it was pretty gay what I saw. I mean, vampire fucking the priest is like pretty
Yeah,
crazy
vampire-
already.
It feels hard to get more insane than vampire fucking a priest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, that's...
Yeah.
If you want to call on cultural symbols, like, you've just packed so many into such a small
Yeah.
space. Like, ooh, and we threw the taboos about sex and religion together. And one of them was a vampire?
Indeed.
No way.
Also, really funny that, and I don't actually mean really funny there. I was just using it as sort of a filler intro. That, like, Christianity as, like, an antithesis of both queerness and the vampire.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, can't have crosses.
Can't have crosses, can't have garlic.
crosses. Well, the garlic thing's like a folklore. Is the garlic thing a Christianity thing?
I don't think
I don't
so.
think so.
Actually, I heard something
Whoa.
about how garlic has like some antimicrobial properties, and so does like what are the
Silver?
other things? Yeah, silver. I
silver.
think. Yeah, because
Oh
that's
yeah,
what they
no,
use
I
for.
did hear that too.
Yeah, and like because like I think something about like folklore, like you know, coming out of like infectious disease. I'm learning so much in this microbiology class. It's great. I didn't learn that in my microbiology class, but like that was like something about how like that might have been how it was like, you know, how you banish the sickness of vampirism is like, oh, it's actual sickness and it's just germs. Yeah.
Well, that's great. Yeah, I think I did hear that, but I
Yeah.
forgot. So.
I feel like the explanation that I find more plausible is that, like, at least with werewolves, and also kind of with vampires with, like, the turning into animal stuff, is that the two main threads are, like, don't go in the woods at night, you idiot, and don't, like,
Yeah.
touch strange animals. Both of which are kind of good pieces of life advice.
Yeah.
Like,
True.
the reason I don't do those things is not what if I get turned into a werewolf, but, like, that's just because I have different reasons for not doing those things,
Right.
not because the werewolf explanation isn't also an adequate means of convincing people to not do dumb things.
I don't know, man. I've done
Cautionary
both of
tales.
those things, and I am perfectly fine.
For now.
For
You've
now.
gone in the woods
And also
and
you-
touched animals?
Yes.
Also, you have access to like modern antibiotics and shit,
That part.
and you know about washing your hands.
Fun
Which
fact.
you
But
can
I-
do in clean running water.
But I domesticated a feral cat,
Fuck yeah.
and also been in the woods
Good
at
for you.
night.
Fun fact, infectious disease used to be like the top one killer of people, but now it's not because of modern
Wait,
sanitation
is it?
practices. It's not. I don't
Yeah,
think.
what is?
It's primarily like, well, it's like primarily like non-infectious. I think it's probably heart disease.
Okay.
It's primarily like non-infectious diseases. Like
That makes sense.
I think it's like an 80-20 split of like non-infectious to infectious.
That's
or something.
awesome.
Or no, I mean there's like infectious diseases is in the 20% slice. Or no, wait. Never mind. Anyways,
It's less now.
Yeah.
it's less. It's so much less now because there's like modern sanitation practices and there's like actually knowing what causes disease because there was like a lot of ideas about it, and then there's also vaccines. So get
Actually,
vaccinated.
and the one of the things that popularized. I actually have notes about this because I want to
Hey,
deploy
sure.
actual facts. There was this Serbian village in oh my god, like the 1820s, like right after the Ottomans got done conquering the place, because let it be known, this is also about imperial anxieties. This Serbian village heard a report of a woman saying that her recently dead husband had like knocked on her door at night and like came in. And they're like, what the fuck? So they dug up the body. And they found the body. He had been dead for several weeks, but it was still, like, not really decayed. Like, it was really fresh, and there was, like, some blood on his mouth. So they got an inspector in from Austria-Hungary, which was, of course, just the Austrian Empire at this point, naturally.
Naturally.
As one does.
And he published, like, this whole account in which he said, like, the local peasants thought it would be a vampire, which in Serbian means, like, come back, basically, like come back from the dead. Like it's related to the French revenir, which is literally like revenir, come back.
Oh yeah.
And so it's sort of this like intersection of medical knowledge with like the edges of what does medical knowledge do when you don't have an explanation other than like what the people around you are telling you, which of course are all highly influenced by like anxieties over the upsetting of the way of life with like a recent invasion going on, and all this is happening in the milieu of like spooky Eastern Europe where the locals know something you don't.
Ooh,
It's crazy.
crazy.
But yeah, we have no good explanation. Our best explanation is that he was not actually dead when he was buried, and so the blood came from him like freaking out and trying to like eat himself.
That's
So
That's-
not
that's
great.
dot, dot, dot.
nightmare.
Yeah.
That's so ... God.
Oopsie,
Take
buried
that
alive.
for him.
No, yeah, that kind of sucks ass.
Yeah.
Sorry, buddy.
Sorry, buddy.
Sorry, buddy.
Hope you got
Better.
better. I wrote
You
his name
got
down.
better.
Peter Blackoyevich.
Oh, all right. Name drop.
Peter
Yeah. So sorry, Peter.
So sorry,
You've
King.
been dead for like 200 years, but we're still talking about you.
We are still talking about him. Sorry, Petey. We're on a first name basis now. I get to call him a nickname. Yeah.
That's crazy. I mean, yeah, I feel like you keep bringing up like the cultural milieu around like various vampire media or like stories and stuff. And yeah, I don't know. I feel like people always say this, but like the vampire is just like a reflection of the current time period, like society's like
Oh no, yeah.
fears and stuff. It's like
Yeah.
such an interesting concept. It's also interesting considering a lot of like queer vampire media coming out.
Well, also, like,
Yeah.
sexual deviance is such a deep-set cultural anxiety, especially in, like, the West. It does not surprise me at all that vampires are portrayed as sexually deviant, if that makes sense. Like,
Yeah,
they're
it makes
disrupting
total
the order of
sense.
society, and
Yeah.
that's scary.
Yeah. And then they're
'Cause-
also, and then you make them into like this abomination against nature, and they're also preying on you.
They're violating the purity of our young women.
Exactly, that
Like,
part.
oh my god, promise.
Promise. That's funny.
I feel like we're saying something there.
Oh, no, that was kind
about
of-
like vampires being a representation of anything the culture is anxious about.
Yeah.
Oh no, that was mostly the whole statement, except I guess like, yeah, I don't know. It is kind of fun now that it's coming, because obviously like everything you both said about like sexual deviancy is like coming up with like vampires makes total sense. It's also been fun to see like kind of reclamation through like media and stuff of like the vampire tropes and how gay people love vampires.
Vampires. Yeah, it's like what we talked about with queer monstrosity. Like, there's a lot of power in like reclaiming the trope that calls you a monster and being like, actually, yeah, and it's cool and sexy, so take that.
And they make vampires like cool as fuck.
They did make vampires cool as fuck. God.
Like there are like horror movie monsters. I feel like it's harder to feel like, oh, I want to reclaim that. But when it's like so embedded in culture, and a lot of the ways it's embedded in culture is like, and what if you were hot and immortal? And it's like, yeah, fuck
No
yeah.
way, yeah.
That's me.
Yeah, slay.
Me RN.
Hot, immortal, bisexual?
Literally.
Yeah, no, oh my god.
Just doing that.
It's free real estate.
Yeah.
And I feel like, I don't know, like what we do in the Shadows, the show in particular, definitely runs with the whole thing about being like immortal and hot. It's like,
doesn't Guillermo, isn't his whole reason for wanting to be a vampire Antonio Banderas in Interview with a Vampire?
Yeah, the original.
The original.
Yeah, no, it's yeah, no, they really run with the idea that like if you were hot and immortal, or not even if you were like
hot.
Conventionally hot,
Yeah.
if you were just fucking immortal, like why would you not be gay? Like
Yeah.
you really
Honestly,
are gonna
yeah.
stick with like one option for the rest of your
whole
like
time?
life?
Damn. Yeah.
Yeah, because every single main character in that show
I
is
slept
weird.
with the Baron.
Also
Hello?
that.
Oh.
The Baron.
The Baron.
Baron.
Nosferatu. Fuck it. And with that, you have been watching Speak Out. I have been your host, JQ.
I've been Emma.
I'm Rainer.
You can follow OutWrite on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, the website formerly known as Twitter. You can read our articles at OutWriteNewsmag.org. That's right, spelled WRITE. Thank you, and have a great rest of your day.
Bye.